Hey guys, Norm with Mobile Glass here. We're in Spanish Oaks and we're doing a windshield chip repair on an MK X, I believe this is, and you can see the damage right there. It's pretty significant damage there to the surface of the glass, as well as of course the fracturing, as you can see. So we're going to use a wider mouthed base for the injector. That way it doesn't leak out. The resin will be under pressure to fill this. So first step, let's clean up this windshield, get a better look at it, and we'll take you through step by step as we repair it. Thank you guys for watching. All right, let's see if we can get a better look at it. As always, guys, we'll have a full description. If you look just below the video in the details, a full description of how we do this repair, and links to our social pages and more information about glass. If you guys are looking for a replacement or repair, just check the description out. And as always, subscribe. We have tons of videos, not all of them showing repairs, a lot of different information as well. So do subscribe. So as you can see, that's what we're working with. That crushed area right in the center right there, we're going to clean that up a little bit. May use a drill and get some of that crushed glass out of the way so that the resin will flow through. So let's get that cleaned up and get our bridge assembly set up, and we'll show you that wide mouth adapter. All right, guys, this is what I really wanted to show you. I could tell by the way it broke that center spot. There was a ring, so the way the glass fractured, that whole piece just popped out of there. So you could see it sliding down the windshield there. So now we have a big, diameter area that we have to work with that's not going to be flush with the window, right, with the surface of the windshield, excuse me. So that's why I was telling you we need that wide mouth adapter. So let me show you that here in a second. So here's our standard adapter, and as you can see, that's not going to work. We're not going to get a seal to under pressure force the resin inside that crack with this size of seal. So what we have here for you, if you can see, is this adapter. Now it's not specifically designed for the bridge assembly that I am using, but it works. So that should cover it. That seal there should be large enough to cover that area. So we hope. If not, do what we can to improvise, or may have to get a new windshield. So we'll work on this here, and I'll be back once we get it all set up. All right, so far so good, but really the moment of truth is going to be once we put it under pressure. So it's about 40 degrees out right now. So what we want to do is we want to heat up the glass, warm it up a little bit, not too much, because obviously we don't want that little line there to take off, right? So we're going to warm it up a little bit before we insert the resin, put the resin into the damaged area. And by heating it up, it's going to kind of close up. It's almost like squeezing a sponge. And then we'll put the resin in, and the sponge will then not be under pressure and kind of open back up and suck back in that resin, if you will. So that's helpful when it's cool. You're able to do this, and we'll try to show you each step here as I do it. So give me a moment, let me get it warmed up. All right, so we have it under pressure, and I have warmed it up. Now the other reason we need to warm it up, if you're wondering, this windshield was obviously, the chip has been there for a while. It's been broken for a while. It's out in the elements. You could see when we showed up, it was really dirty, right? So water and dirt and so forth has gotten in there. We want to get any moisture out. It rained as recent as yesterday, so by heating it up, that will help to dissipate any moisture inside the damaged area. That mixes with the resin, that water or moisture, it just doesn't turn out as well. It's more noticeable. So to be a professional, you definitely want to heat them up a little bit before you work on them. They've been out in the rain. Okay, so once you've heated it up and set your bridge assembly here with the adapter under pressure, and you got the resin flowing in, what you don't want to do is prematurely remove the bridge assembly. or even prematurely cure the resin. So the resin, if you don't know, is going to cure under UV light. So we won't apply UV light until we're ready for it to harden. What we want is to cool that windshield back down. So you can tell I put some of the glass cleaner there on it. I usually do that on both sides. Allow it to kind of dry. I don't try to put too much on there. As it dries, it's going to cause the windshield to cool down. And once the windshield's back to basically ambient temperature of the air, or 10 minutes, say, total has elapsed, then you want to go ahead and cause the resin to harden to add the UV light, the curing process. You don't want to do that too soon because, like I said, we heated it up so that crack is kind of closed up, and if it opens after we've cured the resin, it'll still make the extreme ends of the cracks and so forth more visible. So we want to give it a chance to open all the way back up and basically kind of suck in the resin, if you will. And once it's fully cooled down back to the temperature that it was, or 10 minutes has elapsed, then we will go ahead and add the UV light for 2 or 3 minutes, cause the resin to harden. Then we can remove our bridge assembly and work on the surface. Right, there's a huge chunk of glass that came out on the surface. We can't leave it like that. Dirt will get in there, water will get in there. It's not the way to do it. So we'll use what we call pit filler, a harder, thicker, tougher resin in that pit, and we'll show you that process here in a second. All right, so here's what we're left with. You can see that crack at a certain angle. It looks like very noticeable, very distinct, but when I change the angle, you can see it's disappeared quite a bit. That diminishing is because there's no longer air trapped in it, so the resin has flowed all the way through that longer crack there on the side, which now I'm getting a hard time for it to focus. So that spot in the middle, you can still see there's a pretty decent size hole there. Let's do the pit filler with a Mylar square, and we'll allow that to harden and smooth it out so it's nice and even with the surface of the glass. So we'll do that step here and show you the end result. Well, I'll show you before I shave it down. So I'll show you here when we start to cause the pit filler to harden with the UV light, the cure process. All right, so if you're wondering what the curing process is like, I have a high-powered flashlight here, and it just has a UV bulb, and I just shine it on there. It's another reason why I use the mirror, because it will reflect the light, kind of get double duty out of your UV light, and just have to hold it over the top of the area, or if you have a stand, a thing that holds it, then set it up there for a few minutes, let it harden. But let's get it cleaned up here. I'm going to take that Mylar square off. You can see there's an air bubble, so we'll have to do a little second spot of pit filler to get that. I figured that would probably happen in such a large area. Not a very typical repair, kind of extreme. So let's get it cleaned up, take a look at it, and maybe we'll do another round of pit filler. Okay, now you're wondering, what is that? So I did the pit filler a second time, got the air bubbles out, so it looks nice and even, as good as it's gonna look, right? So what we have here is quite a lot, actually, pit polish, so that the area that's left over, obviously in this one, a very large area that's cloudy white resin, not transparent like the windshield. We're going to polish that up with this pit polish and make the whole area look as even as possible. So try to make the area, the damage diminish as much as we can. So I'll be back. It's probably take me a minute or two to rub this in, kind of firmly at first, and then I go softer and softer, and then I use a clean area really soft. So I'll show you that here in a moment. Okay, so we're all polished up and cleaned up. Let's see what we're left with here, if we can get it to focus properly. There, you can see it pretty good. So, pretty nasty break, but definitely diminished significantly. Like I said, they are not going to disappear, so if you're anticipating it's going to go away and just look like it was never broken, it's not the case. I'm not gonna lie, once in a great while that will happen with certain breaks, but for the most part, this is what you're gonna look forward to. About an 80% diminished appearance, and mainly that it will not go any further. So Spanish Oaks Mobile Glass, you guys need help, just give us a call. 512 what's our number here? 983-4527, or of course 800-557-3078. Thank you for watching.